Welcome to Pathways, Encouraging a Better Life. Dennis Dunn here, and I am so glad that you have joined us on Pathways, that we come together on Monday mornings to navigate our path as we walk through the Word of God, seeking His wisdom and His diligence all the way. So I know you are busy, and I know it is a busy time. Seasons are changing. Winter is fading away. Spring is on its way. And we're here looking at the beauty of creation, how God speaks every day through His creation. Trees are budding, birds are chirping, the wind is blowing, and we know that spring is very nigh. So join me this morning. I'm going to read from the New Living Translation out of the book of John, the Gospel book of John, chapter 15, verse 1. And I love the way the New Living Translation puts the words of Jesus this morning. So join me. John chapter 15, just one verse, verse 12. It reads like this: This is my commandment. Love each other in the same way I have loved you. This is my commandment. Love each other in the same way I have loved you. And this morning, here's the thought: succeeding in your relationships. Succeeding in your relationships. You know, horizontal relationships between humankind. Jesus makes a very powerful statement. He says, This is my commandment. Love each other as I have loved you. So I want to tell a story, and this story is germane to this thought this morning and this meditation. I read this story some time ago in a book by an author, and it really touched me. In this story, there were two farmers, and their land at the boundaries kind of came together next to each other. But there was a deep chasm that separated the land, and the farmers didn't like each other. They wouldn't speak, they wouldn't talk. In fact, they were prejudiced against each other. So one built a wall so that he wouldn't have to look at his neighbor plow his field. So the other one complimented him, and he built a wall so he wouldn't have to look at his neighbor plow his field. And they both were fathers. One had a son and one had a daughter. The son and the daughter met one day, and eventually they fell in love. And the son and the daughter tore down the walls, built a bridge over the chasm that they could come together because they loved each other. And I love that story because it is so germane to what Jesus is saying, that I want you to love in your relationships as I, Jesus says, have loved you. And when we think about it in that next verse, he says, What greater love could a man show than to lay his life down for his friends? And when I think about this story, I think about the text, and I think about Jesus' commandment to love. You know, when I think about this world, our society, and our culture, think about it. And I believe you would agree with me. We live in a broken world. We live in a broken society. Broken and bruised children go to school every day and sometimes have many challenges learning because of the brokenness they experience at home. It's hard to concentrate in school. It's hard to learn when you are dodging pots and pans, parents pulling out guns on each other, because we live in a broken world, and broken children go to school and can't learn because of the broken homes they come from. Think about it. We live in a culture and a world and a society that is dealing with brokenness. There are broken teachers who can't instruct broken children because from their own households, they come from brokenness, divorces, families that are just scattered and devastated. So now we have a mix of broken children, some broken teachers that can't teach broken children, and there is a breach in our culture and our society because of brokenness. When you think about it, look at our local communities. We have leaders that are broken, leading our cities, administrators that are broken in charge of our school systems, and they can't help those beneath them because of their own personal brokenness. That's the world, and that's the culture we live in. But Jesus says something. He says, "This is my commandment, to love one another as I has loved you." Here's the real deal. You can never mend brokenness until you know the love of God. You can never mend it. You can never heal it until you know the love of God. That's why Jesus says, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you." We need to bring our brokenness to Jesus and submit ourselves to his authority so that he can mend us. How to mend a broken heart? Through the love of Jesus Christ. Think about successful relationships. We're talking about horizontal human relationships. Think about it. One of the thin threads of human relationships that makes it possible is trust. Trust is a thin thread. When trust is broken, there's no relationship. You can front it out, you can fake it, but there's nothing real there if there lies no trust. And Jesus said, "Look, I am the way. I am the truth." Jesus says, "I am the life. No man gets to the Father but by me, because I can be trusted." Trust is the thin thread that will make any relationship unite in unity, oneness, and love. If you're in a horizontal relationship, dating, a marriage, there's a trust that needs to be fostered. If you're in a business relationship, or you're the leader on a team in your workplace or in the church or in ministry, there is a trust that has to be fostered, because a trust will unite relationships. Jesus talks about this commandment of love. And in this commandment of love, if we're going to have successful relationships, we got to have open communication. Open communication. Look, in a relationship, whether it is a love relationship, a dating relationship, a marriage relationship, or a business relationship, if there is not open communication, let me explain myself. If there is one party in the relationship that feels there's a threat to openly communicate, then there's a shutdown in communication. If there is one party that feels that they are not being heard in open communication, then there's a shutdown in communication, and it will not foster a successful relationship. If you are a leader and you're leading an organization, if you are a leader and you're leading a team, if you are in a romantic relationship and you cannot have open relationship or open communication, then there will no success lie in that relationship. Because part of successful relationships is being able to communicate, being able to talk one with another, being able to address issues, move forward, come with agreement, and then succeed. When I think about this word today, and when I think about success in relationships, it has to be a trust. It has to be a communication. It has to be an openness. And when I think about successful relationships, they are fostered with team effort. Think about it. You can grow a business alone. But if you want to build a dynasty, you need a team. If you want to build a dynasty in a romantic relationship, you need a team. You can't do it alone. If you want to build a dynasty in a business, whether it is a profit business or non-profit NGO, you need to build a team. And a successful team will have healthy relationships. Look at some of the businesses around us who succeeded for decades because they have unity in team effort. When I think about successful relationships, I think about successful relationships have things like this: vision, plan, a future to behold, because they have discussed it, they have talked it, they have prayed about it, or even they have thought about it and worked it out that they could succeed. So this week, I want you to remember what Proverbs says: without vision, we perish. This week, I want you to remember relationships will succeed when there is love that exists. And Jesus said, I leave this commandment with you, my brothers and sisters. He said, love one another as I have demonstrated that I love you. God bless you this Monday. And may God bless you this week. Father, in Jesus' name, bless my brothers and sisters to foster the relationship and the relationship of love with you, Jesus, and then horizontally display that in every arena of their life. God bless you this week. God bless you this Monday.